Welcome to Simply Bitcoin, the channel that breaks down all the daily Bitcoin news from Twitter, the daily fail, the meme review, the software releases, and today we do have a website by Plebs. Give us a like and subscribe. All right, here we go. Kicking it off with the numbers.
Black booty dashboard.
Nice. Ooh, look at that. Even have the tail off right there. It's nice. All right. So the current block height is 662,114. The current Bitcoin price, 23,970. What's going on there?
I don't know. It is.
What happened there? That's a weak. It's a weak cluck. The chain rewrite day 615, and the total lightning capacity 1,063.55 BTC. And we did break to a new all-time high above 24K. What was it, about 3 hours ago? Something like that. Anyways,
it was glorious. It was
glorious.
And it was glorious not because 24K is amazing, an amazing achievement. It's the fudging vindication.
Right.
4 years of war, of meme warfare that you guys had to put up with. If any of you guys are new to the channel, you're confused why I'm holding a rubber chicken. His name is Satoshi the Bitcoin Chicken, and he collects every time the price of Bitcoin hits an all-time high. And at that, Phil, it's time for
the daily fail. All right. So our daily fail is brought to us by our friend, Bitcoin Meme Hub. So anyways, he put this over the people who don't know who the Geico caveman is. So this guy, our actual daily fail is Peter Joseph. And now, although this is an entire thread of failure, we really just decided to pick on this one particular comment here. 21 million is not a meaning cap since the coin can be divided into units as small as, and then, the Bitcoin to the what's it called, to the 10th power, or to the 8th power he's putting here, or to the 8th decimal place. Anyways, okay, so just because you cut, I thought this was basic knowledge, but just because you cut, we're going to explain it. You have the same size pie. You're simply cutting the same sized pie into smaller pieces. When you put those smaller pieces together, it doesn't equal more pie. So yeah, I don't know how much more you really need to explain to that. So unfortunately for, Pete Joseph and his theory, it doesn't really work, and he possibly doesn't understand, those basic concepts. So so you're not getting more pie. There isn't more Bitcoin to go around because it can be split into smaller pieces. It's just simply smaller pieces.
Yeah, it's so freaking obvious. I don't know what to say. And by the way, guys, you guys should definitely go check out that thread, because every single Bitcoiner, including myself and Phil, commented and just ripped this guy, totally destroyed him. I think he's a commie. It's confirmed he's a commie, right? Because it's man, I don't, just go check out the thread, guys.
Has he never played with toys or eaten food or anything?
It's because we could divide it more. It's that chocolate trip, where you divide a chocolate bar and it seems like it stays the same.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the daily meme review.
So our meme today is brought to us by Bitcoin Magazine. If you don't follow them, go follow them. We really love their content here at Simply Bitcoin. And let's check it out. Jesus, let's just keep going. Okay, it's done. All right, okay. So I think this was posted one of the days that it was an all-time high, so it kind of made sense. But it wasn't a very good meme, to be honest with you. So it made me laugh, so I'm going to at least give it a 7. What about you, Phil?
Well, it appears that I'm the meme Grinch today, because I'm going with the 6.5.
Okay. I would
it was good, but like, yeah, go ahead.
I would have given it a 6.5 too, but it made me giggle. That's why I put an extra 0.5.
I gave it a 6.5 because it made me giggle. It would have been lower, but I was like, okay, so that's kind of cute. But totally look, to anybody that is, let's say, new to the space and would happen to see that, it's a chart with a cat and a song, so I guess they could kind of figure out, but it's not something that I think is going to touch the person's core or reach some type of like a, how could I say this? Like a core archetype, that rings true, with somebody, kind of like the battle of like good versus evil and stuff like that, like that's something that every human can relate with. And this is something that it was just like, meh, okay, it's cute. Maybe the cat people will like it.
Yeah, maybe the cat people will be like, you guys are assholes.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you get the new cat people.
Exactly. All right, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by
Crypto Cloaks. All right, guys. So today's news, we focus more on Twitter during the weekend, and man, this is just kind of a follow up of what we covered yesterday. This is a very good point by Matt Odell. This is something that we didn't voice ourselves yesterday, but it is a really important factor. So what I'm talking about is essentially the FinCEN officially proposed regulations towards Bitcoin exchanges, right? And just to kind of remind you guys, now they're requiring exchanges to report on any clients who withdraw or deposit more than $10,000 worth of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, right? That's the new regulation in Plebs. Phil and I, we voiced our opinions yesterday. We do not agree with that, but I think that Matt Odell brings up a point that we didn't discuss, which is governments who cannot keep our personal data secure while compelling us to disclose almost every detail of our lives anyway should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. They refuse to protect us, and we have no choice to protect ourselves. I absolutely agree with Matt Odell, right? Yep. And guys, the DHS, the DOJ, and the Department of Defense are all customers of SolarWinds. And that was the source of the giant US hack, right? So, Phil, like, you're imposing more draconian regulations, right? That imagine if that got leaked. These are the clients, these are their names and addresses and social security numbers of all the clients that withdrew more than $10,000 in Bitcoin. That's a security risk to your own citizens. Yeah, and absolutely. We know from time and time again that eventually everything gets hacked. Everything, literally. Except a decentralized system, right? This is one of the awesome parts about Bitcoin. But a centralized system, eventually someone finds a way in. And imagine it's a honeypot, right? It's a honeypot.
Say that.
And it's absolutely infuriating. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, every one of those centralized systems is a honeypot. Okay, so it's like you just said. Number two, we're going back to what we were saying yesterday. They can't even keep our data secure. Okay. I know a little bit about, the way that governments do some of their IT, and I can tell you that it's very frightening. Okay. Like it is absolutely frightening. And the things that they concentrate on are not necessarily the correct things. It's a whole bunch of red tape for the sake of red tape. Okay. So it's this illusion of security that they try to create, this illusion of control and predictability, but it's not there. It isn't real. And it's scary to think that we are supposed to blindly hand our information over, which they already have a ton of our information already. Okay. But even more information in relation to Bitcoin. So I think we are definitely going into interesting times ahead, and it's going to be scary. And I think, unfortunately, we're just going to see some bad things happen. I don't really know what, but I just, I'd say we all have to be vigilant and pay attention.
I completely agree, Phil. And at that, let's move on to our next piece of news, right? Again, not such, I would say it's not such positive news, it's not good news, it's just neutral news, but it is a big deal. Bitmain is the largest manufacturer of mining equipment year round, right? And basically they've had a long power struggle internally between the two founders, which is Jihan Wu, which is the guy that created Bitcoin Cash for anyone that doesn't know, and Zhan Kitun, right? So they've been negotiating since September to kind of how to spin off the two companies or their two assets, right? In an amicable way, right? And a lot of Bitmain's troubles in manufacturing are actually coming from this struggle, right? So some quick takes from the article. Bitmain is expected to undergo a major spinoff as a solution to end its year-long internal power struggle. Co-founder Wu Jihan, which is again the guy that founded Bitcoin Cash with Roger Ver, is set to step down from Bitmain's miner manufacturer business. I see that as a good thing, right? A local report says Bitmain's qualified IPO valuation threshold is now at 5.5 billion. If that is true, it's significantly lower than the 18 billion minimum linked in its articles of association. And the reason that they're mentioning this is because they do have plans in the future. At least Zhan Kitun has plans in the future to actually bring Bitmain technologies public in the United States. But as the article suggested, they're way short of I would say the limit that is required. So it just goes into more details here. But the big news is that, there's a big shakeup right now, a big leadership shakeup and a restructuring of, a lot of the internal things that are going on at Bitmain. How could this affect you? Why should you care? My impression of Jihan Wu is that he's a good mine. He's good at setting up mining operations, but he's not so good on the manufacturing side. So I suspect, like potentially in the near to long-term future, there will be more production. It will be more optimized to produce even more miners from Bitmain, right? Not that affects a lot of you guys, but it kind of is a big deal in the back part of Bitcoin. These internal struggles. So as a pleb, Phil, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, it's not really too much, but this is like the growing pains, right? Of like a new industry, so to speak. So we're kind of seeing some of these growing pains happen, right? These guys work together. Now they're splitting up. Now they're working on splitting up the assets. So I think this is just normal. We're going to see new players coming in. We're going to see different types of players. I think we're just seeing the beginning of the evolution here,
I absolutely agree with you, Phil. And at that, Phil, there was a website by Plebs.
Okay, so this is a website from fellow Bitcoiner and author as well, right? He's the author of the 21 Lessons, Durgigi, and he made a website called Bitcoin-Resources, and we are going to go take a look at it for just a quick second here. Just a quick sec, just to give everybody a view of what's actually on this thing. I'm sorry, I'm all scrolling up and making everybody dizzy, but essentially here you go. This is it from the top. Okay, and he's got everything here. He's got books, articles, podcasts, and he lists everything right down here, the essentials. Totally. I mean, if you've got somebody that's getting into Bitcoin, and you're a noob yourself, even if you're intermediate, even if you're a programmer, like, this is a great website with all the resources, everything Bitcoin only. It's fantastic. Check it out. The link's in the show notes down below.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Guys, thank you so much for watching a whole other week of Simply Bitcoin. We're super grateful for you guys. The channel's been doing great so far. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We wouldn't be here without you. And you guys know what to do. If you guys like the video, smash that like button. If you guys love the video, subscribe. And Satoshi, Phil, and I will see you on Tuesday for another episode. Peace, guys.